I'd like to start with, before we go to the food, let's start with Grace, for two reasons. Grace Viviano, who was very instrumental in getting this thing going 14, 15 years ago. And Grace, thank you to God for the food and the fellowship that we have here today. So if we just, and I'll use the grace that I learned at the Irish Catholic School up on North Main Street. I think it's the same one that you learned down at St. Anthony's on Pomeroy Street. So let's go. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. A couple of housekeeping things. In the event that there is a fire, I don't think there will be an emergency, but the main exit is over here, and I'm not sure when there's another exit over on the other side. We should know that. We have people here from Syracuse, New Berlin, Binghamton, Rochester, Pennsylvania, Florida, Cortland, and Homer.
California.
California?
California.
Okay, very good. That's Freeville? Yeah, Willard also. That's a little inside joke. A special thanks to Butch and the staff here who have been handling this for us for several years. My first time here was last year, and I was very impressed with it. And when my cousin Sandy Cardillo asked me to help out this year, I couldn't really refuse her. But we also had advertisers, the Cortland Standard, Homer News, WCNY Public Radio, and TV Channel 2 have been very supportive. There are several businesses that have donated prizes. If you did not get a little red ticket for your door prize, see the ladies at the front desk, and they'll see you get a ticket. We're going to have a drawing later on. I'll give you the basic outline of the agenda that we're doing here, and that is that we're going to have food, and then we're going to get on to the program. We have Sharon Stevens is here today. She's videoing what is going on, and it's going to cost you all $10 if you don't want your picture posted doing something bad. Later on, we would like to have everybody and anybody that wants to come up and tell a story, a recollection of something that happened when they were working, either picking beans, working in the factories, or their relatives told stories. This will be an oral history, which I think is important that we preserve for future generations. What you folks who pick beans and your ancestors, your family members did, will be lost if we don't record it some way. And just the turnout that we have here today really, really impresses me. And I'm glad to see so many people here. Let's see what else I had. The committee this year consisted of Ada Abate, Rita Elkhorn, Sandy Cardillo, who was next year's chair. Oh, God help me. Cindy Schlenker, Joyce Altieri, Mary Spees, Christine Colangeli, Marianne McAvoy, and I don't know if I missed anybody or not. Did I get everybody? If I did, I apologize. Tell me and I'll make it up later. Let's see. When we get into the reminiscing, I have a couple of things. We'll get it started at that point. I can tell you some interesting stories I've heard just since I got involved with this about bean pickers. And I don't know, is Amelia part of Genonia?
No, she's not here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad, because I was hoping Amelia would be here. Because I was not a bean picker. I was a newspaper delivery boy, and I delivered newspapers to Amelia half a lifetime, more than half a lifetime ago. And I was hoping that we could see her here today. But anyway, with that, thank you very much, and we can get started.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes?
May I say a few words?
Yes.
Okay. It's about recording stories.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Karen Foresti Henson. I've lived in Portland for over 34 years. I taught with Karen Pace Pierce. My uncle is Cifanelli, so I have a connection here. I'm writing a book, and it's entitled The Bean Pickers. And I have gone to 4 historical societies, and there is not one book, like Don said, there's not one book that's been written about your experiences. My parents grew up in the Utica area, and they were bean pickers as well. So I have so many stories in my head. I would love for the last chapter of my book to be about the Portland bean pickers. So I have a little recorder. I've got my phone. If you would like to, we're going to be in the back table back there, but I would love to even come to your house if you want me to, or talk to you on the phone. I would love to get your story. If you want me to include it, I will put your name in the book. I will. I find all of your stories very fascinating. So I hope to see you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. One last thing, along the fireplace, there are some photos of articles that were published in Cortland Standard, Syracuse newspaper. Some of them were about pea pickers, and again, peas and beans were harvested differently, but they were processed quite the same way. They were shelled, the peas were shelled, and they were sorted, and women would stand or sit at tables and sort these things. So, while it may not be totally appropriate, I know, you don't want to hear me talk anymore, you want to eat. No, that's fine, I understand, I'm not insulted either. I want to eat. Let's start with eating. Let's start with this table over here. We're going to get started back on, since everybody seems to be fairly well through their food. We're going to do this in a couple of phases. I want to start out with having some people come up and tell any recollections, remembrances they have, and then we'll stop for a few minutes, go through the door prizes. Anybody did not get a red ticket for the door prizes? If you didn't, come on up to the table. We need to give a round of applause and thanks to Tink Spies, Mary Spies' husband, for all the photographs that are showing up on that slide, on that screen. Those are from last year. Did a beautiful job, and he's been taking pictures today. And Sharon Stevens over here, as I mentioned earlier, but I forgot to mention that her family from Syracuse used to come down and pick beans. And there were some pictures that we ran in the Homer News, a little plug for me there, that Sharon had loaned us to show, to just generate some interest. So some of the reminiscence, I had a friend tell me not too long ago that when he was 10 years old, he started picking beans. And the truck picked him up early in the morning, and he got on this truck, let's see, 10-year-old boy, got on the truck, and there were all these women. And they were talking loudly in Italian and waving their arms. And he stayed for 2 days, and he was so intimidated he never went back to pick beans after 2 days. Now, who could be intimidated by some Italian women speaking loudly, waving their arms? Certainly not the men in this room. Okay. I also happened to mention a couple of weeks ago to Steve Robinson, who owns Robinson's Woodshop over here on Delaware Ave, another plug, about this reunion. And he told me that he worked in the Halstead Canning Factory, which, let me diverge a minute here. Ann Halstead Eves was hoping to be here today. Ann's father, uncle, and grandfather ran Halstead Canning Factory. Ann's father died, Ann is 90, her father died when she was 9. That's 81 years ago. Ann was the election commissioner for many years in Cortland. Her sons run WXHC radio station in Holman. Superwoman, but she's got her great-grandchildren are here from Colorado. This is the last day they're going to be in town, so she just didn't feel that she was going to, she had to pass on it, but she will try to be here next year. I was also reminded that before you go, take a look. There are 2 cans on the front table from Halstead Canning. I don't remember what was in them. One was corn, maybe? Succotash. Oh my gosh. No wonder there's still cans around. And what's the other one?
Corn.
Corn, okay. So take a look at those. Those were loaned to us by Ed Braun from Homer. Ed is a bottle collector and he collects all kinds of odds and ends and stuff. So thanks to him for letting us have those. Steve, I know you got a mouthful of food. We'll let you get it chewed up a little bit. And would you told me a story at the canning factory, the Halstead Canning Factory. Would you come up and share that with the folks here, please? And hold the microphone real close to your mouth.
Okay. I worked at Halstead's on the canner when I first went to work there. Hank Halstead was my boss, and Jerry McDonald, the athletic director at Marathon for many, many years, was the big boss. And on that canner, cans came down over your head, and of course they made a rattle when they came and went into the machine and filled up with beans. We were doing beans at that time. And on the other end of the machine was Larry Guy, who strapped them off and put them in the baskets to go to the cookers. So that was our daily routine usually, unless we unloaded a boxcar with, guess what, cans. They were hard to handle because of being a little bit smaller. I probably was about 15. My arms weren't as long as they are today. But at any rate, I got a promotion, got a raise. So I went up on the 3rd floor. It wasn't much of a raise. There was no dollar volume there. To work with an old guy to put cans in the rack. So went down 2 floors to the canner. Well, we got the cans up there, and of course we put them in, and he showed me how to do it. It didn't take too much to learn how to do that. But it got to be nighttime. Evidently, he was a beer drinker. So, guess what? You're on the 3rd floor. It was kind of hard to sneak downstairs through the whole way, through the whole plant. You go over to Gino's. Those that remember that bar on Owego Street, right next to the tracks. He give me a couple of bucks or 3 or 5 or something and say, go get me a couple of quarts. And I said, well, I'm not going down through all that. He said, no, you don't have to. He brought me over to the window and he said, it's that way. I looked down and sure enough, there was a roof down there and it was only 1 story and it looked too bad and it was relatively flat, so I jumped. Hit the deck and there was some barrels or something there I could get on and then just snuck along the fence. There was a wooden fence there, I remember. Not too long, but in back of that building anyway. And then over to Gino's. Well, Gino recognized me because I peddled a Herald Sunday paper to him a couple of years before that. He always gave, interesting enough, he always gave me an orange when I collected, especially around the holidays. So I went in to get 2 quarts or whatever it was of beer. He said, okay, it's not for you. I said, no. So he brought me an orange and the beer in a bag. So now I had to get back into the building, right? So I snuck along the fence and went up the back stairs. And that's my story about my initial work at Halstead's. And I worked there most of that summer. I think that was probably, I was about 15. So No, I only worked there that 1 year. Yeah. I think I went in the Air Force the following year.
What'd you do with all your money?
My money, yeah. Right. You work 6 days. Sunday was the day to catch up on those late hours that you spent at the canner. Because the ladies would sort those beans in the other building, and when they came over on the conveyor, all ready to go, you had to be there until they were gone. I think the cookers got the best pay. I'm pretty sure I made 75 cents an hour. And the cookers got 90 cents. That was pretty big pay in those days. So, but their hours were longer yet. Of course, they started later. So, but that's my story. I'm going to give this back to you. I'm going to talk.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. At this point, I'm going to open up. Anybody has got a reminiscence, please come up. Dick Cifanelli. Lorraine just said that you have something to tell us about your days as bean picking. Come on up, Dick. The cord won't reach that far, and the video camera won't.
I think I can talk loud enough.
No, but the video camera won't pick you up. We got to have you up front here.
I charge for movies.
That's okay. Stag movies? Come on, Dick. You're still young.
Well, one of the few things I can remember, I was maybe 10 years old with that. A lot of people didn't realize that after World War II, they brought German soldiers here. And they picked in one part of the bean field and we picked in the other part, with the military police down in between, separating us. But these soldiers weren't the real bad guys. They were like the Italian soldiers under Mussolini. You went in because you had to, not because you wanted to. These guys were usually good guys. And young fellas, most of them, a little older than me. I graduated from the bean field when I was 10. Yeah, I became a paper boy. Then I graduated from that. Steve was telling a story about working at Halstead's. I worked at Halstead's. I think it was 3 days. I quit. I went to work for a bottling company. Only 75 cents an hour, Steve. Where are you? Only 75 cents an hour, too. That was big money then, Steve. Did you ever tell them any of the stories about the other side of the tracks from the bar? No,
Don't you either.
We won't. Steve and I go way back.
Dick and I are classmates. We've been forever knowing him. And I don't know why he came to the south end. Well, on second thought, I do have some reason.
But
I'm not going to tell him.
3 cents an hour, or 3 cents a pound, rather. 3 cents for green beans, 2.5 cents for yellow beans. Oh yeah. And you got paid at the end of the year. At the end of the season, you brought your tickets in and you got paid, and this is what bought our school clothes. So, and I'm still working. But that's a little bit more. Not much, but a little bit more. But that's about my experience. Well, no, my brother Dane, God rest his soul. There were 4 of us that picked. My sister Jo, my brother Sam, my brother Dane, and myself. Dan got fired. He had the record for getting fired most times in the bean field. He got fired 5 times in one day. I think Jimmy Papa, Frank
Pepper nose.
Pepper Nose. Yeah. Nick, he was, I think he was a Hungarian. And then it was the Old Man Kirk. He was the local. Old Man Kirk was local. Yep. And I think Kirk got Dan back in the bean field.
John Napa. From Syracuse.
Yes. John Napa. Geez, Joe, your brain is still working. But anyway, it was great. We met a lot of nice people from Scranton area, Wilkes-Barre, and they were there for the same reason we were, to make a few bucks, because they didn't have any work there either, and came from big families, and we're still eating beans.
Thank you very much, Dick. Appreciate that. Yes, we have come, you, not we, not me. You folks have come a long way. And I've been, Joe Morani has been volunteered to tell something. Well, if it weren't for friends, you wouldn't have any enemies.
I have to say, I can't say.
Oh, come on.
I'll tell one little story.
That's all. We just need stories that people.
I'm not used to talking as much. Will you teach me? Teach me tonight.
Okay, I can't sing.
All right. I'm so glad to be here, as you can tell. I love seeing my old friends. I love to make new acquaintances. And thank you to Gracie, who organized and initiated this beautiful party. Rest in peace. So I want to say one more thing. Today, coincidentally, September 8th, is the birthday of a very dear person to my heart and to many people here. My brother Peter Altieri's birthday, who used to come and look forward to these parties. So Peter, brother, rest in peace too. And all the people that we have lost, the bean pickers that cannot be with us today, we're thinking about them and hope they are happy and looking down upon us and laughing.
Yeah.
Amen. I want to say one thing. I picked always with the older women who really you had to pick. There was no fooling around. So that's why I got that one. And we used to have like 2 rows. In the morning, the bosses would come around. How many rows do you want? How many do you want? God rest her soul, I picked with Mary Gallucci. If anybody knew Mary Gallucci, she was always like this. The only time she was like this is when she had to go to the bathroom. Because you couldn't go, she didn't want to take time to go in the woods or the cornfields. And that was our So we used to take 2 rows and pick on each side. And then we had to fill the sacks. You all know, we had to fill the sacks and stuff. And once in a while, I stuck a few more leaves in there. And then we'd wet it with the water. We didn't drink it. We sweat it. Then the sacks might weigh 100 pounds or so. Carry them on your back to the scale. The scale was close when you started picking, but as you picked, the scale got further away. So then you had to carry it to the scale. Mother, the sweat, and I was a little chubbier then too. So it was a job. Once in a while we'd find nice fellas who would help us, or the bosses, they felt sorry for you. And so, you know, that went by. Then once in a while somebody, I hate to say this, especially the shacklers, poor people, they used to come and sacrifice leaving their homes and everything to pick. They'd put rocks in the bags once in a while. But darn it, when they got up to the scale and they got those sacks and bounced pushed them on the scale to ping. So they had to take them out, empty them and take them out. Sometimes, depending on who was around, they sent them home. They had to come back the next day. But hey, we all want to make a living. Do it the best way you can. In Italian, they say, "Chi può fregare frega." To make the days go by, we used to sing all Italian songs. E la gommare da cingo vigni. Does anybody know that song?
No.
E una ladro sarà somiglia. To make days go by. Then we would go home at night and read the True Story magazine. And the next day we would go, and as we were picking, you can't get up, you got to keep picking, we would tell the story to each other to make the day go by. But like Dickie said, we wanted to help our family, our parents who struggled for us and to make a living for themselves too, better themselves, and we did it with all our heart. And it did pay for the clothes for school and the fact that we were able to help our parents. So I'm proud to be a bean picker. I'm sorry to say there's some people, and I've told them, I'm not talking behind their back, that are not proud and they're not here today and they have never come. And I said they should come. They will learn about life. So thank you to all of you, and in memory of the ones that are not here today. Amen.
At this point, we're going to start doing some. Oh, come on up. I've got some willing.
Okay. Well, no, come on up.
Okay, Joey.
I'm Joey Nigro, and some of you might know that I have a radio show in Syracuse called Chow. And on our radio show, we do talk a lot about growing up Italian American or things, that are Italian. And this is, I really almost started crying when I came here. I think I'm going to now because all my life, I am the family historian, by the way. And all my life, I heard about how my parents met picking beans in Cortland. My dad's family came up from Scranton, or as my grandfather would say, Scranton. And my mom's family would come down from Syracuse. Many summers, and she'll tell you about that, but this is extremely meaningful to me. And I can't even imagine children, or even people my age now, cannot imagine what you did and how you and why you did it. Like she said, you felt like you were helping your parents. But you have a lot of memories, and I feel sorry for the ones that don't want to admit that they did it, because it'll never happen again. You know, these days are kind of gone. So I'm here to hear your stories, and I'm so thrilled to know that someone's going to be writing a book. And I would love to have Joe. What a beautiful voice you have, and I'd love to have you come to Syracuse and talk on our radio show and sing that song. You do. I want to talk with you. I know a lot of Italian songs, and I sing in Italian. I even sing in the dialect, but I've never heard that song.
I'm going to be her agent.
Oh, she can be your agent. Well, here's my mom, Jill DiCaprio, and she'll tell you the story.
Okay, we were 5 girls. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. All right. But only 4 of us came to Portland. My parents had built the house in 1938. I started when I was probably 7. But we would leave this brand new, beautiful house, come down to Cortland and live in the lean-to shacks. The shacks. We'd go up and climb up on the ladder to stuff our mattresses with hay. Very different sleeping on hay. So when I see the shacks, I think, oh my God, I have to do something. So I took an old dress and made a skirt and put a made kind of a dressing table with a mirror on top, put some pictures on the walls with the windows so that it would feel more homey. And of course, our highlight was going to Abdella's every night for the ice cream. Then we'd go next door to the shacks, sit under the trees, talk with the boys, and eat your ice cream. And also, we had a gentleman from Syracuse who played the mandolin and sang beautiful Italian songs. But I'm going to say one thing. I have never been ashamed to say that I picked beans. And I feel that it really built our character.
Yeah, you're right.
I probably was 6 years old till I was 18 and graduated from high school, and that was the end. And I met Joey's father there. I had a big crush on him, but he never knew it. But then a year later, at Christmas, he sent me a Christmas card and asked me to write to him because he was going into the Navy. But I have many fond memories of those days. I've never regretted it.
Thank you. Mary Ann, would you come up, please? We're going to start the door prize drawings. So get your little red tickets out. Trade with you. Or not. Or give it to me. Okay. And we're doing a Price Chopper gift card. 684. 684.
Right here.
Oh,
good girl.
Good
girl. Got to start.
My father, of course, I don't remember that.
Okay, Tony.
He had a battle. No, Al was
Reading your gift
my
certificates.
brother's got a thing that says
Please be sure to thank the
I
people
wish
that
I
gave
could
those.
find it.
Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this stuff. The cost you pay, the door covers the meal. These gifts are out of the kindness of several businesses in the community. And they always open up to us. Can't do it any louder. Louder. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, no, don't do that. At least your war cry. Quiet. Okay. I'm trying to be. But I'm looking for some more volunteers to tell what they did. You don't want to. And then 5 years from now, you're going to say, turn it off. They had a story to tell and they didn't tell it.
I'll wake them up for you.
Okay.
What do you want?
A thank you to the committee here. Did a good job. Sandy's going to be chairing next year. Needs a lot of help. No, she wants a lot of help. She doesn't need help. But anybody that's interested, talk to Sandy. It takes a lot of effort to contact everybody because most of it's done by telephone. Okay, I know when I've lost the crowd. Thank you very much. Enjoy the